So you guys all know televangelist Pat Robertson. Now he made a comment about Trump, saying that he lives in an alternate reality, and he made some comments about him that were pretty critical. Basically saying, your day is over, move on, you've lost. Biden and Kamala are going to be president. Electoral College has affirmed this. Supreme Court is not going to step in to do anything. So basically, a bunch of sensible stuff with some crazy sprinkled in there, nonetheless. But I do want you guys to check out the footage.
I think it's all over. I think the Electoral College has spoken. I think the Biden corruption has not totally been brought to fruition, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the Electoral College. And I don't think the Supreme Court is going to move in to do anything. And I think we're going to see a President Biden, and I also think we'll be seeing a President Kamala Harris not too long after the inauguration of President Biden. With all his talent and the ability to raise money and draw large crowds, the president still lives in an alternate reality. He really does. People say, well, he lies about this, that, and the other, but no, he isn't lying. To him, that's the truth. He had the biggest crowd on Inauguration Day. He had more people than ever. He was the most popular people. He saved NBC, but with The Apprentice, you go down the line of things that really aren't true, and people kept pointing to them. But because they loved him so much, and he was so strong for the evangelicals were with him all the way. But there was something about him that was good, that God placed him in that office for the time. He's done a marvelous job for the economy. But at the same time, he is very erratic, and he's fired people, and he's fought people, and he's insulted people, and it keeps going down the line. So it's a mixed bag. And I think it would be well to say, you've had your day, and it's time to move on.
So as you guys saw there, Pat Robertson with some, sane-sounding remarks. It's sad that, we're viewing people who are now, Republicans, who are essentially now coming out and saying that, yeah, Trump's lost the election at this point when it should have been a long time ago. But nonetheless, I'm actually not too surprised. Pat Robertson has actually, I believe, criticized Trump recently, and Pat Robertson does have, the occasional good take or an interesting take. Like, one time he said, assault weapons or, automatic weapons should be banned. So he'll have those kinds of, little interesting kicks there, which honestly makes me curious to know what his real personal beliefs are and whether or not him being, a televangelist is affecting what he's saying on air. But some of the quotes he says, I had prayed and hoped that there might be some better solution, but I think it's all over. I think the Electoral College has spoken. I think the Biden corruption has not totally been brought to fruition, but it doesn't seem to be affecting the Electoral College, and I don't think the Supreme Court is going to move in to do anything. I think we're going to see a President Biden, and I also think we're seeing a President Kamala Harris not too long after the inauguration of President Biden, so just keep your eyes on the future. And so it does not appear that he supports him in 2024. So it says Christian Broadcasting Network correspondent George Thomas later asked Robertson if he thought Trump should run again in 2024, as reports have suggested he has said to allies privately, quote, I think it will be a mistake. My money would be on Nikki Haley. I think she'd make a tremendous candidate for the Republican candidate. With all his talent and the ability to raise money and grow large crowds, the president still lives in an alternate reality. He really does. And so as you saw there in that video, he was basically, he was explaining that, he says a bunch of stuff that he believes is true, but it's really not. All the stuff that he says, it's not even really remotely true, obviously. You can quantify numbers on, inaugurations and stuff like that. You can fact check those things. Trump is obviously just wrong. He's not telling the truth on any of those issues. But it is interesting to see Pat Robertson saying this, although I'm not actually all that surprised to see him say this, to be quite honest with you. But it is going to be interesting to see where the Republicans go post-2024, or post-2020, I should say. But Nikki Haley is definitely going to run for president 100%, so we're going to see how that goes. Is Trump going to run? Maybe. Depends on his circumstances. I'm not particularly sure what his circumstances will be at that point. But there appears to still be a movement among some House Republicans to try to challenge this result, so I don't know what's going to come out of that. But the election's been over really since election night, when basically, to me, the election was over when, on the first night of the election, when the little ticker on New York Times, the needle flipped 62% in Biden's favor for Georgia. That was kind of when we knew, okay, this is over. So yeah, that's what's going on. Pat Robertson with some interesting comments.